Hi everyone, good day again, and this is DM. So this video is all about my personal nursing adaptation story here in Ireland. It's been 3 years now, and yeah, time is so fast that I still remember though what was my adaptation story. So just hold on and watch this video. Thanks. So here comes my first day at work as a student nurse. So remember, I'm taking my adaptation. So I don't have really any idea at all. I mean, like, I feel nervous because it's a very different environment. By the way, for the information of everyone, I came from Abu Dhabi. So I am a home care nurse there. But prior to Abu Dhabi, I was a medical surgical nurse way back in the Philippines. So yeah, so from a med surg nurse going to a home care nurse, which is very different setup when you transcend to a different place in the hospital, especially here in Ireland. So yeah, my first day is general orientation. So we are a group, a batch of Filipino who dream of this Irish job, and yeah, we are in an office or in a podium, and we met our clinical facilitator, and she introduced us on different person with different functions in the hospital. So we were orientated and as well as refreshed on our minds on the Irish protocols or their mission statements and the general idea on what's gonna happen. Just to give you an idea on what's gonna be the general topic during the general orientation, it's all about the hierarchy of personnel inside on that particular hospital, and of course you can check the hclan.ie. That is very helpful because it will tell you on their practice here in Ireland. So the chain of infection, hand washing, everything that you want to know is on that website. So if you want to be advanced and orientated before coming in Ireland, you should check on that website, hclan.ie, and it will surely help you. I did a couple of course there. By the way, at the end of each course, you will have a certificate. But yeah, so I just made 2 courses before coming here, just to familiarize about that website. But anyway, it will help you a lot. So much with that. So first week is general orientation week, and the last day of our general orientation, that's the time that our clinical facilitator already decided on which ward we are going to have our adaptation. So I'm so anxious. I feel so nervous because I'm a home care nurse and there's only one patient in Abu Dhabi and it's the same patient, and now I'm taking a leap of faith. So I'm going to have my work in the hospital. I don't know what's the setup, the routine, what Irish people or Irish nurses are. So that's loads of questions, and you should be composed although you're under pressure because it's a risk. And it's a risk why did you pursue nursing here in Ireland? And I can't really. So here comes the second week. So I'm so nervous because I'm gonna take a handover. It's a guided handover also. By the way, handover is the same as endorsement in the Philippines. So they call handover here in Ireland. So I'm so very nervous because, honestly, after the handover, I received my patients or our patients together with my preceptor. I honestly didn't really have the comprehension on my handover different terms, different medical abbreviations, and how they call these diseases. It's very hard. I mean, like, I have a hard time understand their accent also, because I'm not used to the Irish accent. I'm used with the American accent though. I think there's no accent in American English. But anyway, yeah, so it's really like, I really don't know. And it feels like it's in the end of the world because I'm so hopeless that time. And I cried at myself secretly because I don't know, I am very ambivalent that time. Did I pursue the right track or the right path on my career, or did I just like fail myself? But anyway, so much with that. And as I promised you, you will get through with this anxiety when you try to familiarize the routine and when you get to use on how people or the Irish nurses or Irish people will talk to you, because it takes time, you know, like to familiarize the accent. It's not that easy, but you will get through it. So I think what's more upsetting, and I'm a little bit disappointed because I did not expect the ward I'm going to have my adaptation. So there's a lot of wards in the hospital, like medical wards, like renal, respiratory, cardiology, oncology, palliative, and yeah, and I was assigned to orthopedics, which I have a little background or no background at all. So it really made me very anxious again, because how will I survive in an orthopedic ward where I don't have any background or just a little background of it? So that's the challenge though, guys. For me, I can't do anything about it because it's already planned by the management or the higher ups. It's up to you on how you embrace the challenge. So, challenge accepted. So the second week, we're all about vital signs monitoring, or what they call here OBS monitoring. So we have this OBS chart or news chart. So it's the basic. I know we have the background on how to use the blood pressure monitoring, the temperature. So basically in my hospital we use this tympanic censored thermometer, and we have this automatic blood pressure monitoring as well as the pulse oximeter reading. And yeah, it's the basic. And mind you here, guys, it's very different in the Philippines. We do the activities of daily living if a patient needs a full care, you know, a full care. So we do wash them if they can't wash themselves, but we promote here independence. So if you think that the patient can do the activities of daily living on his or her own without compromising their own safety, so we can encourage them. But if you think that the patient is frail and can't do anything about himself or herself, so we need to help them. So we do the washing. We are very careful on the skin integrity of the patient. So you should know if the patient is so frail and there's like impaired skin integrity. So if the patient is at risk on that, so you should be wary about that. And I think that's it. ADLs, OBS monitoring, and you should master that in the second week. So in addition to that, in the second week, you also know how to learn how to properly feed a patient. So if a patient needs, like confused patients or very frail patients needs to be assist in feeding, so you should do that. But before that, there's loads of types or like diets in the hospital, so you should be careful. Like, just, I know that we need to feed the patient, but we should assess first if the patient has the proper swallowing. You know, like, I mean, like, no problem or no compromise with the swallowing reflex. And if the patient is on this kind of diet, soft diet, and we have thickeners if the patient has that problem with the swallowing. So that's it. Here comes third week. So the time is so fast. It's on the third week now, and yeah, it's the medication week. So here in Ireland, if you're a student nurse, you're not allowed to give intravenous medication, although we know how to give that in the Philippines, because here we're in a different country with different rules and regulations, especially if you're still a student nurse here. So it's a no-no to give intravenous medications, IV fluids, even just flush, no flush. So here just oral tablets, but all those oral medications needs to be co-signed with your preceptor, and it needs to be reviewed by your preceptor, because for me, Irish preceptors are very keen on that, and you're not safe if you will already give the medication without checking it with your preceptor. So it's a no-no. It will be a deduction on your evaluation later on. So the third week also will be your intermediate meeting. So it's the start of intermediate meeting, and then it could be happening also in the fourth week. So that's it. You just need to master the medication, oral medication, remember, with the cosign of your preceptor, and the subcut like Clexane, the low molecular heparin therapy. So just mind those little minor details, which is very important for client safety. That's the third week now, okay? So fourth week, so basically this is really the start of the intermediate meeting. So your preceptor and the clinical facilitator will have this indoor meeting, closed door meeting, and they will evaluate. You have this kind of a checkbook or a checklist if you do those things. So, and also remember the 5 domains of competency. You should achieve that five domains, because it's very important for them to give you your license. And literally they will tell you, they will really like ask you this checklist. So if you do this, and what your preceptor think, if you did that with highest competency. So that's it. So really fourth week you'll be assigned for like 2 to 3 patients, and it will be your own patient with minimal supervision of your preceptor. But again, you're tied up with your preceptor still. So yeah, just be safe, just do the basic things, because everything comes with the basic. Your obs, if the patient has the problem, like if the patient has a fever or shortness of breath, you prioritize the patient, and then you tell your preceptor that this patient, because your preceptor will really appreciate if you know who are the sick patients, because that will be attended first. And then if there's no sick patient, give them comfort, as long as your patients are comfortable, neat, fed, and So here comes the 5th week. So on your 5th week, so from 2 patients rather, you'll be having 3 to 4 patients now on your 5th week. And again, you should master the basics and know who's your priority, who needs attention first, who are in pain or in discomfort, because here in Ireland, comfort is the priority. You're very observant with that. And of course, while doing your 4 to 5 patients, also you should be familiarized on the different diagnoses of your patient, because your preceptor will ask you what is happening in your patient, what are their current issues, and is there any problem. You should be involved also on the discharge process. So if the patient is going home, or if the patient is going home with support or anything, anyway, that will be explained to you by preceptor if you will have your adaptation. So just master the 5th week, 4 to 5 patients with ease and with confidence. Then most likely on your 6th week, which your final meeting will happen, you'll be signed up. And yay! Here comes the 6th week. So on your 6th week, you're expected to have 6 patients. And of course, with all those basic things, and you how to identify sick patients now, and how to you're confident now to give oral medications, and you participate, and you have proper communication with all the multidisciplinary, because here in Ireland you need to liaise, or you need to talk with the dietitians, the SOL team, or the speech and language therapists if the patient needs a review because they have problem with their swallowing. If the patient is losing weight, you need to talk with the dietitian. And of course, importantly, you need to use the ISBAR tool, and you need to communicate with the doctors yourselves. You need to be confident in answering the phone now, and much more on that. So I mean, like, yeah, you're confident now that you'll be left with these 6 patients. But what happened to me was so upsetting, and also disappointing in my point of view, because I have these errors. I talked with my preceptor, and that preceptor used those errors during our final meeting that got me extended. How cruel is that? Anyway, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's what happened. So it's just like I already embraced the challenge that I will be extended. So here comes again, I feel like I'm nervous again because, oh my god, this is the 7th week now, and I think I only have 12 weeks to prove myself that I'm worthy of this pin, that I want this license. You know, like, yeah, so that's it. Here comes 7th week. It's reached my breaking point. Like, for me, there's a invisible wall between me and the Irish nurses that I need to destroy. Like, yeah, because you need to go with all with their pacing. I mean, like, what will I need to do? Because I already have the experience. I did the 6 weeks already, and I think that's enough. But why is it that I'm still extended? But anyway, there's a reason on that. And for everyone's information, your extension is a challenge as well as an advantage to you, because you will learn a lot on this extension. That knowledge is power, and learning is a continuous process. And if you will just treat this extension, I even cried to my CNM because I'm not worthy with this pin, and did I do something wrong that made me extended? But eventually my CNM, my great CNM, said to me that, no, DM, you have these capabilities, you have the experience already, you just need to be honed, and you just need to really like do more effort. And finally, on my 7th week, yeah, it's the 7th week now. So here in this week, because I got extended, so I should be expected to be good in doing admissions, discharges, assessment, as well as communicating with the different multidisciplinary team, such as the SOL team or the speech and language therapies or therapy, the dietitians, doctors, getting telephone calls, and sort of the like, I mean, like, better communication with my colleagues, which will be your colleague after you will be signed off. And then the ADLs, you master the ADLs or the basic care. So when I'm doing that, I was doing this duty, and then my clinical facilitator asked my person, and she said to me that, Dian, can you sign this paper to me? And then I asked her, like, what's that? What is that? I mean, and then she said, oh, you already signed, you didn't know that? Oh, I was so already signed off, and I was so shocked because I didn't expect that. She just came and just wanted to sign this paper because I was already signed off, which made me very happy as well as emotional, because at last I did it. I made it. So thanks God, and thanks to myself also, and to all those people behind my success of having this very precious Irish pin. So I can say that I'm a registered general nurse now. So I hope everyone learned from this experience of mine. And if you're having hesitation and doubts and you're nervous about this new milestone, just remember that you have it takes to pass this adaptation period. And it's a matter of learning and perseverance and being willing to learn. And most of all, above all, respect. Just respect your preceptors or everyone, your patients, and just be willing to work, and they will notice it. Irish nurses has a heart too, so they'll be more than happy to sign you off. And in this neutral country, Ireland, there's loads of benefits, and most of all, people are generally genuine and kind. Until next video, thank you, bye.